So today I will give you the presentation about the technique that I have learned. It is MTT Assay. So it is exactly MTT Assay. This is a colorimetric assay that measures the reduction of a yellow MTT by mitochondrial reductase. It is used to measure cell variabilities and cytotoxicity. The MTT chemical enters the cells and passes into the mitochondria, which is reduced to an insoluble colored dark purple pharmaceutical product. Is what is it application for? So it applied for cell proliferation and activation, also cytotoxicity assay, and especially it used into sensitive testing of new drugs and to respond to growth factors. For example, if you use a cell culture or you want to test this chemical or the will affect to the cell, like lead to the cell death or the cell life, you can use this technique also. And how does it work? You can see on this PowerPoint, like the entity chemical have the yellow one, and when the cell leave, it will have a mitochondrial reductase enzyme, and it will convert entity yellow one to the pharmacin purple. Yeah, and it is the procedure of this test. So first we must cell seeding, and for the cell seeding you must make sure that the number of each well is equally wide. For example, if you want to test the drug, like you want to make sure that all the drug will affect and lead to the cell death or cell life, and so you will measure like how the control that you don't treat the drug and have the sample that you treat with that drug, and the cell will increase or the cell will live or the cell will die, that decrease. This is why we must make sure that the number we're adding into the cell is equally. And for this step we must use microscopy and the symbol also, like we use the microscopy and this calculation to measure the cell number, and after that we will adding onto the wells, and after adding into the after seeding the cell into the wells, we added entity reagent, and after that we incubate it. And for the first step, I have mentioned about how I score, and we will waiting for entity like the cell, if the entity convert to the formation, if the cell live. And after this step, like the tips entity chemical is very sensitive to light, so you must keep it in the dark. And especially at we must use DMSO to dissolve the insoluble to treat it by the wavelength, and after the enzyme we treat the wavelength of between 540 to 595, but in my lab it used 570. And after use the wavelength to read, you will have the result like this. And how we deal with it, and how can we calculate the cell viability, the percentage of cell viabilities. So we actually we will use this calculation to measure it, and you must make sure that like the absorbance reading of the blank mean you must have the blank, like you put just medium that don't have like any cells, and this must be subtracted from all samples, and percentage of viable cells like equal to absorbance sample minus absorbance blank divided to absorbance control minus absorbance blank and multiplied with 100, and then you will have the percentage of cell viabilities. And absorbance values greater than the control indicate cell proliferation, while lower values suggest cell death. or inhibition of proliferation. So like if you do any technique, it will help the troubleshooting. Like for example, if you use MTT reagent or ELISA or so, they will give you the paper onto the into the box. Like you open it and you will see the paper, and it will lead many troubleshooting when you do this technique. And for MTT reagent, it have many like contamination, inaccurate plating or pipetting, or the absorbance reading low or high. For me, I have do that for twice, and I met the problem that I met is the replicates have different values. And the replicates have different values, and the absorbance reading is too high. Here in my the result in December 13 and December 19, you can see the column 1 like is the overload, and for the column 3 the number is in here is lower, but in here is so high. The absorbance that we get is so high, and maybe it have the inaccurate pipetting or pipette or something or contamination at this time. But after practice that, for the result at December 19, you can see that the result is more beautiful then. So for the limitation of this technique, like cells will with low metabolic activities, for example, like lymphocytes, lymphocytes, and splenocytes might be used in high number, and the sensitivity of an MTT assay is lower than that of fluorescence. And you should know that opposed to MTT and formazan crystals are cytotoxic, and it will cause damaging change to cellular morphology. And so any technique that we have learned before can measure cell variabilities. Like it have a lot of technique that can measure cell variabilities, but I will give you the technique that the other member in my lab have reported in her previous report, and it's very like popular, like live data assays. In live data assays, they use PI is named propylium iodine. This chemical will via the cell membrane if it is the cell death, and it couldn't like via the cell membrane if the cell life. So if it can via the cell membrane, and it binds to the DNA, and it will make this cell have the red color ones, and it means cell death. So it also led me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening.